The chair's going through the table. Meat boy, let's go. UFC Perth. We are down under. Last week we got back on track with the easy to light work dog lock, meat lock, dink dog, Diego Lopez plus 184. Let's not spend too much time on last UFC card, but because overall it wasn't too great for you, boy. You did all right, but either way, the meat lock cashed with absolute ease. We essentially said that the era of the nerds is basically over, and the odds makers, the Timmies, were all over Gene Silva as a minus 230 inflated favorite. We dinked on Diego Lopez. What'd you make of Diego? Is he next for the title?
Yeah, Diego Lopez absolutely came through for the boys. We kind of were all over that, and yeah, I think he does deserve a title fight. He got smoked. The fight before, but he's making a comeback, and yeah, he well deserves it.
Yeah, it's well deserved for sure. He spit some fire on the mic afterwards. It's really a great performance for him and pretty good call for you boys as well. But either way, me boy, you ready to go down under UFC Perth? Because a lot of your boys are on this card. JV Baseball's headlining against one of your boys, Olberg. You trying to swap us there?
Yeah, let's get right into the meat lock.
Move us into the meat lock then. It's another meat lock dog. Tom Nolan taking on Charlie Campbell. Despite Tom Nolan being the sizable favorite, hometown kid, having all the hype, we kind of think Charlie Campbell on the road is, as a plus 126 dog, going to spoil the hometown affair of Tom Nolan. And Tom Nolan is coming in off a nice recent win, three in fact, and he did just smoke Slava Claus, but Charlie Campbell's a dude. He's 9-1, undefeated in the UFC. His only loss is to Chris Duncan, who's basically peaking right now. What do you like stylistically about Charlie Campbell for this meat lock? And do you see him going out and not only beating Nolan in his backyard, but potentially finishing him?
Yeah, I think he is going to finish him. I think he's going to knock him out, to be honest. I think Charlie Campbell's got absolute coconut bombs in those hands. Six finishes, three decisions. Um, Trevor Peek is a freak. I don't think Tom Nolan is a freak like Trevor Peek. Trevor Peek doesn't go down easy. And I think one touch by Charlie and he's going to go down. I love this as a juicy dog lock. I mean, he's undefeated in the UFC and he's been taking heads and just absolutely wrecking people. So I expect him to do the same. I think people are sleeping on him, and I think this might be one of the juiciest odds we see after he gets this job done.
Yeah, good stuff. You touched on the Trevor Peek fight, and while Trevor Peek isn't necessarily the best UFC fighter, the dude is durable, and he really boxed his face off for sure in that one. I think Tom Nolan is probably better than Peek, but even Tom Nolan, if you look at his recent wins, there are probably a lot of dudes that Charlie Campbell might have a lot of success against as well. So it's an interesting dink dog meat lock for us. Tapology's fading us. 79% is going with Nolan. Only 21% going with Campbell, but those taking Charlie do think that the KO could be imminent. Is this just a similar story as last week when it was basically the same numbers, everyone overwhelmingly on the nerd favorite, and us sneaking through the back door?
Yeah, I think this is going to be a sneaky backdoor, and then people will eventually realize that the tendies are there for the taking. So I think this is a dog lock, lock on lock, Charlie lock.
Agree. Yeah, let's get the meat lock to 126, and we'll keep it simple. Throwing down an easy 100 to net 126. The numbers add up for this week's meat lock down under in UFC Perth. But swap us through, my boy. It's another absolute hype beast taking on a fighter who had a little bit of hype about 6 months ago, but basically has none now. Rodolfo Bellato, aka Bellator, taking on Navajo Sterling. And this is the prelim headliner. Navajo Sterling is another one of these guys who is claiming all of this excitement, all these eyes, but it's difficult to kind of tell via the eye test how good he really is, and is he even good enough to take out a guy in Bellato who had a lot of hype. Obviously, every time he fights against Vitor Prelimo, he always gets smoked, but everyone else he does run through. And the most recent fight against Paul Craig was a fight he was dominating, and then, a strange circumstance happened which rendered it a no contest. But Bellator is taking out everyone not named Vitor Prelimo. Is he, as a kind of juicy plus 200 dog, having some life against Navajo Sterling, who best guy he's fought so far is Tuco Tokos?
Yeah, no, he definitely he the best guy's definitely Tugo Tokos, that is for sure. But I don't know. I think he's kind of a bum dog, but yeah.
Who are you taking? I mean, Navajo Sterling is minus 245. I think the odds seem kind of crazy. This to me is two unproven guys who are meeting in the middle essentially, and therefore for me should be a pick 'em. So are you leaning Sterling? Is he, despite not being great, better than Bellator, or are you kind of with me leaning Rodolfo maybe as a dink dog?
Yeah, I think Dink Dog for sure. Rodolfo will definitely. I mean, his opponent is undefeated, but Rodolfo he got knocked out by Bum Dog, but I think he's coming back, and he should absolutely Bum Dog Sterling to the prelimos.
90% is rolling with Navajo. I mean, it's the prelim headliner for a reason. So you got to imagine the UFC is hopeful that Sterling gets this one done. And the Timmy's Vegas is all seeing it for Navajo as well. Only 10% going Bellato. If you are taking Bellato to sneak in and get this fight over Sterling, do you think he's going to go out there and finish Navajo Sterling?
Yeah, I think he will. I think he'll get a KO. That's pretty much his only path to victory is getting a KO, to be honest. He's pretty bad everywhere else. First round KO, the traitor.
I'm gonna go Bellato by submission. I think he's got to find a way to get this one down to the ground, and I do think he might be in some damage in the first 5 minutes. I mean, it's not to say that this undefeated kid Navajo Sterling is a bad fighter. I just am curious to see if he's well-rounded enough to compete at the higher levels of the UFC, and if not, is even a guy like Bellator going to be too well-rounded for him, specifically in the grappling and maybe submission department. So I'm going to go with the homie Traitor Bellator by second or third round submission, but he's got to survive those early moments early, and if he fights like he does against Prelimo, then perhaps Navajo is going to put him out as well. But either way, swap us through. We're both taking Bellator on that one. Swap us through. It's an OG matchup. Basically, Jake Matthews is a fat favorite, minus 520, against Neil Magny, who every time you write off Neil Magny, he will find a way to get back and find a way to pick up a victory, which he just did most recently when he got an amazing finish as a fat dog against Zalewski dos Santos. So, what are your thoughts on this one? Are you surprised that Jake Matthews? I mean, he has been looking good, but minus 520 against a guy like Neil Magny, and is there any life for Neil Magny at plus 350, or is this a Jake Matthews lock?
Yeah, I think this is a Jake Matthews lock, to be honest. I think Jake Matthews is going to ragdoll him. I just think he's in his prime. He's looking pretty good, while Magny's getting a little older, a little slower, etc., etc. So yeah, I'm going to go with a Jake Matthews by finish.
Yeah, 85% is going that way as well. And I was going to ask you, I figured you'd be picking Jake Matthews, but do you think he's going to go out there and get a finish? I mean, Jake Matthews historically had been a decision guy, but recently when he got that nice finish, he's been getting, I mean, the one he got against Chidi and Njokuani was early and often, and that was a beautiful thing to see. He got that finish over Darius Flowers. Obviously, that's Darius Flowers, but do you think that Jake Matthews continues his finishing ways and Neil Magny goes out there early?
Um, I think Neil Magny does go out early, to be honest. I think Jake Matthews he could get a submission, but I think it's gonna be more of a ground and pound TKO first round.
Yeah, very interesting. If he goes out there and finishes Neil Magny, especially that early, that'd be pretty impressive. Because I mean, we have seen Neil Magny go down that way. I mean, recently, right? That did happen to Carlos Pratas. It happened against Michael Morales. I just wonder if Jake Matthews is in that same conversation, and if he is, then perhaps Jake Matthews isn't a couple fights away from a championship opportunity. Because this is a kid who's, he's been in the UFC forever. He's got crazy experience, had crazy hype, and really seems to be finally coming into his own. So a cool matchup here, maybe a passing of the guard style fight. I'll go Jake Matthews for sure. I struggle to see him getting a first early finish though, so I'll go Jake Matthews probably by decision. Maybe this thing's close though, and I mean we remember that fight Neil Magny versus the Canadian kid Mike Malott, where Mike Malott is just absolutely dominating for 13 minutes, and then finds a way to fumble. Like you wonder if that could happen. Probably not, but I'll go Jake Matthews, but by decision. You're going finish.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go finish on this one.
Yeah, swap us through then. It's the co-meet. Jack Jenkins, minus 300 favorite, basically taking on Ramon Tavares. And Ramon Tavares is a plus 220 dog. My interesting parallel for this one is, could this fight be at all similar to the fight that happened 2 weeks ago, where our boy Jared Gordon was basically a minus 250 favorite against Rafa Garcia and went out and got absolutely kind of smoked by Garcia? Could Jack Jenkins, I mean, this is a dude who, in my opinion, I think he's got beautiful leg kicks. Jack Jenkins, probably some of the sickest kicks in the UFC, but he has lost some fights and doesn't, to me, seem like a completely well-rounded guy, and especially, I don't want to say undeserving, but I question the co-meet opportunity for Jack Jenkins in this one. And does Roman Tavares come through and just show him the MMA level similar to how Rafa Garcia did last weekend, or is Jack Jenkins going to come into his own and far is really as good as they're trying to sell him as?
Yeah, Leroy Jenkins is decent, but I don't know if he's as good as the odds are saying. I have him winning in this bout, but I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if he loses. This is juicy if you're thinking the dog's gonna win, but yeah, I think Leroy Jenkins does win though, just edged out slightly. Leg kicks are good, his grappling solid. I think he wins a decision.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I think decision does seem fair for sure. And obviously, Tavares is one of those scrappy dudes, tough dude. I mean, he did pick up a win officially against Surrey City, who is a tough fighter in his own right. It was a controversial split, but either way, a victory. And Jack Jenkins, meanwhile, has lost 2 of 3. You and I believe, were all over the Chepe Mati Skull call. We probably might have even meatlocked that one. And everyone else was picking Jack Jenkins in that one. So if you're taking Jack Jenkins, are you going by a dominant decision, or do you see this fight being close?
I think it could be close to be honest, but if Jenkins wins this, yeah, I think it'll be a close fight, but I think Jenkins just slightly edges it out decision.
Yeah, I'm with that. Let's go Jenkins by decision, and let us know in the comments if we're sleeping on Farr and he truly is like the next dude. Because I mean, there's a reason he's fighting in the co-meet event, and perhaps we just haven't seen it yet, and might this weekend against Tavares for sure. But swap us through. It's the one I've been waiting to get your perspective on, because it's Blackjack, your boy Carlos Olberg, taking on JV Baseball, who suddenly is back. I mean, don't look now, but Dominic Reyes is on an absolute tear. 3-fight win streak. Was dead to rights, had lost 4 in a row, and boom, he's back. Seems to have everything screwed on tight upstairs, and really seems like a rejuvenated 2.0 JV Baseball. And he's taking on Carlos Olberg, who is basically undefeated besides that one lone loss to Kenny Nzechukwu. But I gotta say, Meat Boy, the last couple of fights of Carlos Olberg, while yes, he's winning unanimous decisions, there, I don't know. I don't know if I'm seeing it yet. And I see JV Baseball as a dude who's peaking, seems to have a new lease on life, and perhaps could be too well rounded for Carlos Olberg in this one. So, what's your perspective? Is JV Baseball going to come through and just get absolutely slept by the Blackjack, or are you a little bit worried for your boy in this one?
No, I mean JV Baseball is he's low key peaking right now. He's been reborn, as you would say, and he could do pretty darn good. But I just don't think he has a chance. This is Black Jag we're talking about, the GOAT, the person that has taken the crown from Izzy soon to be, because he's gonna be champ inevitably. That's just what it says. Uh, Sorry to the champ, but Blackjack's coming through. I think he's gonna knock out everybody. I think he's knocking out JV Baseball. I think it could be a close fight, and JV Baseball does the John Jones thing where I won that fight, but like, no, you didn't, buddy. No, you didn't. Go back to JV Baseball. So this should be interesting. This should be fun, and I got Carlos winning by decision.
Dominic Reyes definitely low key probably did win that fight against John Jones, but I hear your take for sure. And if you're taking Blackjack in this one, 50-50 split. First of all, Tapology is absolutely down the middle, but the odds reflect something very different, right? Minus 265 is Blackjack, plus 200 is JV Baseball. Your pick, officially, you're riding with your boy Blackjack, finds a way to get this one done. Remind me if you said KO and or decision, and either way, from an odds perspective, do you think that the numbers are a little bit fascinating, especially given the even 50-50 split we see on Tapology?
Yeah, I think the 50-50 is juicy for Carlos fans, and I think Carlos has got this done as a lock, to be honest.
All right, remind me, you going decision or KO?
I'm gonna go decision, just because most likely a KO does happen. That means a decision will inevitably happen.
True. If JV Baseball finds a way to get this one done, is he going to have to finish Carlos Ulberg? Is there any world where
100%.
Dominic Reyes could win a decision, or do you
No.
just see that only pathway being JV finish, if there's any?
I think Olberg could win KO easy
Okay.
and could win decision. If it's a decision to Olberg, it is a beatdown. It's a clinic. It's a Max Holloway absolute beatdown. JV Baseball, I think, loses every decision out there. I think he could win by KO. I think he could even win by submission, low key. That's a sneaky thing to look at. Check that. Not bad to put $1 or 10 cents on, because the odds are probably insane. But yeah, it's got to be a finish. It's got to be a finish, and then for JV Baseball, 100%.
Yeah, I do sort of buy that. I've been torn on this fight because I do think Black Jag is super talented. Obviously, I mean the guy finds ways to win fights. I'm not too impressed with his mic skills afterwards. I feel like he sort of has some Luke Rockhold energy a little bit, but a little bit less endearing. And I'm hopeful if he does win this weekend that he spits something fire. Because I mean, you made the teammate and you made the comparison to Izzy, but Izzy would go on the mic and actually spit some fire. So let's hope Blackjack can figure that one out. But either way, Meat Boy, I've been going back and forth. I think you offer compelling takes on why Blackjack could get this one done, but I got to go JV Baseball. I'm buying the hype. Plus 200 is way too juicy to pass up. And I think that if JV Baseball can find a way to get close the distance, don't fight the style of fight that Blackjack is going to try to fight out of distance, and find a way to make it ugly, maybe even win rounds, maybe get some takedowns, do some damage on the ground. I'm buying the hype. I think JV Baseball's back. He's going to cash as a sizable dog, and I might even be checking out the late JV Baseball buy finish because I don't know. I think he's back. Could there potentially be some life to that story, or do you truly think Blackjack is that good?
I think Blackjack is that good. I think he's going to put a clinic or knock him out. But this is going to be a spectacular performance. Blackjack wins easy.
Let us know in the comments if Blackjack gets this one done easy light work. He truly is that good, and even a guy as peaking and as back as Dominic Reyes won't have a chance. I'm seeing it the other way. I think Dominic Reyes does have some serious life, but let us know in the comments. Either way, Meat Boy, UFC Perth, episode 230. Last week I went 1-4. You went 2-3, but the Meatlock cashed. Is the Meatlock cashing this week? And what do you go? 5-0?
1000% and 4-1.
4-1 for both of us. I agree. Let us know in the comments if you agree or disagree with any of the takes. Comment, like, subscribe. You got anything, Meat Boy?
Yep.